Hey everybody, welcome to Go to Your Room and Make Stuff, the podcast about making art, any kind of art, all by ourselves in a room or a studio, maybe outside. No one is telling us when, where, or how, or any combination of those things. This is a podcast for solo artistic adventurers, those who are doing it and those who want to try it. Support, ideas, and just plain fun. Hey there, welcome to Go to Your Room and Make Stuff. And today's guest is Yinka Ladeinde, who is a phenomenally talented voice talent. I met her because she came to classes with Seattle Voice Academy, and she was amazing. She was really, really good. And now her career is just taken off, and she's doing amazing things in all these different areas, audiobooks and commercial. And she's with some of the best representation in California. She's amazing. And I'll do a different spot where I do her bio. But before we get into Yinka stuff, I want to recommend some of the books that I am finding unbelievably helpful right now. So take what you want from this, leave the rest. But the books that I recommend to anybody who is going into their room and making stuff by themselves. The first book is The War of Art. This is by Stephen Pressfield. The War of Art, Break Through the Blocks and Win Your Inner Creative Battles. This one's a big one. I used to keep a stack of these. When we had the Seattle Voice Academy in person, like in studios in Georgetown, I used to hand these out like candy. Like I kept a big stack of them. I'm like, here, go read this book. So please go read this book. I'm rereading it because you can't read it enough times. The next book I want to recommend is one called Show Your Work. This is by Austin Kleon, Kleon. Show Your Work. So, I'm 50. Even if I don't sound like it, I'm 50 years old. I was born in 74 and it's 2024. So that's 50 years. I have a little bit of a hard time being online. I don't want to have a hard time being online. I want to be like, yeah, I do Facebook once a week. Okay, that's having a hard time being online. And this is a really good book. He also wrote a book called Steal Like an Artist, which I adore. And I read that one years ago. He talks about let people peek under the curtain of what you do. And he's not saying go post all the crap. The other quote I love is, don't show your lunch or your latte. Show your work. That's a direct quote from his book, okay? So he says, what if you showed people what you do? Not the boring parts, sometimes the boring parts, but make sure it's worth their while. So I was like, okay, all right, I'll do it. Let's see what happens. So I went on LinkedIn and I posted a 15-minute video of me editing a voiceover file. Okay, that is what I do all day. You guys, you think it's me being all romantic on the mic and talking all day? Yeah, no, mostly I edit. I set sound levels, then I do the gig, then I edit, and finally send. So I did this video. 700 views later. I'm like, oh, well, that was worthwhile. So what he also says that you get into the book later is it's like, don't just post stuff that's crap. I mean, evaluate it. Does it help someone else understand the business? Does it help someone else understand the art? Does it give people like a little window into what you do? Well, no, that's worth sharing, right? So I used the word troglodyte today and someone's like, no, troglodyte's too big. You should use Luddite. Okay, whatever word you want. The truth is, it's okay to show what you do. And it's okay to show it online. Be respectful, honor copyrights, be protective of yourself, but don't be afraid to show what you do because people think that's cool. So another book I'm going to recommend in addition to that's a War of Art, Show Your Work. This one's connected. This one's called Steal Like an Artist, and it's Steal Like an Artist, and it's a journal. And it is a notebook for creative kleptomaniacs. Okay. How do you come in here? And some of the prompts in this journal are brilliant. Here's one. Without any help, translate a paragraph from a language you don't speak. Be as accurate as you can. I haven't done that page yet. I can't wait to do it. There's another one in here. Oh, start randomly typing into a search box and write down the auto suggestions. I'll continue. Kurt Vonnegut, through every story has a shape, and he shows the different types of story shapes. And then he says, graph a couple of your favorite stories. So this is a journal for keeping yourself active. And I admit where I'm proud of myself. 30-day challenge. Every day I will show my work. And after I do, I'll put an X in the box. Yo, check that out. Look at all those X's. That's good. I'm on day 10. And other days, he says also you don't have to go in order. Pictures can say whatever you want them to say. So it's a bunch of triangles. It's just triangle after triangle. And then you say a triangle could be a mountain, a trilogy, a balance, a rising tide, a tree, Christmas, a circle, the moon, sunshine, infinity. This is me adding these notes. Full circle, face, dot, beginning, here. Find the things that activate your creative thinking. And it doesn't matter if you get a book like Steal It, not like an artist journal. I'm a pretty hardcore journal person, and the journal that I've been using forever, there's two. I love them both. What I really actually love more than even the journals I put inside is this leather. Okay, I'm very tactile. This is a leather cover. I love this. Every single morning, this is how I get to work. I pick this up and I fill it out. And the two journals I love the most, one is called the Self Journal, SELF, self. Okay, and that's these. Okay, so the Self Journal, I've got one right here. Is that right? Is this Self? I think it is. Let me look at it. There's two, like I said, there's two I love. No, this is Finisher's Journal. This is the second one I love. The Self Journal. By the way, no one's paying me to show you these. I just do it because I love it. Here you go. The Self Journal. This one has not been opened. Clearly I have one. I'll use it when I need it. But in the meantime, there's one I like better. And that's the Finisher's Journal. And the Finisher's Journal is created so that you finish what you say you're going to do. It's kind of a big deal. So right now in the Finisher's Journal, I have a week page. And then like week, you've got 13 weeks. And you won't be able to read my crazy scrawny handwriting. But here is my week 3 plan, my weekly review. I've got all the stuff I have to get done. And then I've got my daily plan, which is, again, a lot of scratch. I love the fact I have to handwrite it. And I handwrite in pencil because I'm going to change my week like crazy. But this is how I get stuff done. And then at the end of the week, you look back and you go, did I get the stuff done I said I was going to do? And if I didn't, what can I tweak for next time? And I think as creatives and entrepreneurs, that's a big deal. Because we don't have a boss telling us, well, did you get your work done? I mean, we have us going, did I get my work done? Did the paychecks come in? Am I paying the bills? And like today, May 2nd, did I get the Seattle Voice Academy courses on sale? Why, yes, I did. I marked it off. Did I get work done on Seattle Voice Academy demos? Yes, I did. I marked it off. Did I do all my auditions? Why, yes, I did. I marked it off. Did I get 3 of Seattle Voice Academy's marketing plans done? I did not. So it gets a little arrow for tomorrow because I can't skip it. That's kind of a big deal. Did I fix our YouTube channel? I have 3 YouTube channels. All of them need to be fixed. I didn't, but I found someone to help. Well, that's a big deal. So tomorrow I'll follow up with that person to get that fixed. So it's not that we have to be perfect every day, but when we sit down for, 10 minutes in the morning, we go, what is my plan for today? We let that unfold. Man, that's just gold. So without further ado, I'm going to let us jump into a conversation with Yinka Ladeinde. She is wicked cool. Enjoy. Let me introduce today's guest. Holy cow. Yinka Ladeinde is a Nigerian-American voice actor and audiobook narrator based in the East San Francisco Bay Area, California. Yinka's voice can be heard on commercial, promo, e-learning, corporate narration products for corporations such as American Express, CNN, Fox, American Medical Association, IBM, Lexus, and more. She has narrated audiobooks with publishers such as Penguin Random House, Hachette, HarperCollins, Simon & Schuster, and Macmillan. You can find out more about her on her website, www.yinkasvoice.com, or follow her at Yinka's Voice on all the socials. And let me just add to that, I have had the honor of working with Yinka since 2020. And wow, watching her career take off has been amazing. So without further ado, Yinka Ladeinde. Sweet. Yinka, thank you so much for being on Go to Your Room and Make Stuff. And I totally wanted to talk to you because your room is hot pink. Um, you can't like that's like just the inside door. That's the interior door, right?
Yeah.
So like the outside of your studio is hot pink, and I think I have a picture that I can totally put up later. Which is so cool.
Magenta.
Officially, it's okay. Okay. So, before we dive into the details of today, let's get to know you a little bit better. Can you share a unique or fun fact about yourself that our listeners might not be aware of?
I was not born in the United States. I was born in Nigeria.
Awesome. That's so
I
cool.
was
When
not
did you
aware of
come to the
that.
States?
I was 2. So I'm very
Got it.
I'm very American, but I am an immigrant. Was that first gen? Yes.
Yeah. Sweet. Uh, Tell us about your art medium or mediums.
Um what, like voice acting?
Yeah.
Acting?
Yeah.
Tell us about it. Tell you about it. Um
Yeah.
I mean, I do voice acting. Literally any genre that I would be hired for. So I've done commercial, audiobooks, corporate, e-learning, animation, video game. Um like anything that I could IVR and phone
Telephony.
message. There we go. Yeah, so it's like I I I I like all the forms, and yeah, I do them all.
What led you into voice arts?
I've always been very dramatic. I've always been extremely dramatic. What's
Yes.
interesting is when I was younger, I first started out. When I was younger, I wanted to be a singer. So I would sing, I would never shut up, I would annoy my entire family, I would always be singing. And then I got to high school and discovered acting. Um, that's funny. Um, and yeah, then I started being obsessed with like, the drama class. I took all the classes and joined. There was like this thespian group, and you had to like do initiation. It was a whole thing, kind of cultish, but it was fun. It was really fun, and I was in like a couple plays and stuff, and yeah.
I have to ask, what plays were you in? Do you remember?
Oh gosh. Do I even remember the names anymore? I just remember one of them. I played the human puddle. I played a human puddle,
A human
and we
puddle.
were like
Okay, I don't know this play.
superheroes. No, it was. I don't know like who wrote it or where it came from, but like I was a human puddle, and we were all superheroes, and I had this like dramatic monologue at the end, and it was all very dramatic. I don't even know if it was good or not. I don't remember, but I had a
Shape
blast.
of water, something like that. Okay.
And she was always crying because it was just the
It's
League of
awesome.
the League of Semi something superheroes. Darn it, I forgot the name. But yeah, it was like short plays,
Yeah.
one act plays. I think.
Okay.
Was that what it was? I think that was what it was, and I was in one of them. Oh, and I was in Alice in Wonderland.
Who did you play in Alice in Wonderland?
No, I was an eaglet.
No judgment from me, none.
I didn't even.
Because if I go back far enough, it gets scary really fast. Yeah.
Like one line.
An
I was an
eaglet.
eaglet.
That's adorable.
It was.
Okay, so tell us about your room or your studio. Tell us all about it. Where you work.
Oh my gosh, it was a game changer. I love this thing. So it's a triple walled 5x6 studio bricks isolation booth. That's what it's under the category.
Yeah.
And
I remember before you had it.
Nightmare.
The window insert at night. You would have it was harder to record because you were like you had extra sounds.
I was full
And do you hear
on.
anything inside that, or are you just what's your noise floor? Yeah,
my noise floor is like it's like between -70 something, like 70. It's wonderful.
Wow,
It's wonderful. I love it.
I'm like -67 in here if the heater's off. And if the heater's on, then I can run, if it's not a raw session, I can run Clarity VX, that plugin, and make it like perfect. But like, can your family be making noise around you?
Not close, but I'm upstairs and they're downstairs. So long as it's not blaring, the football game. And
Okay.
even when it's blaring the football game, because like those announcers have those deep voices and
Yeah, they come right
those
through.
low frequencies, but it's not even so, like, even when he's blasting it, because he's well, elderly parents in their hearing. Even when he's blasting it, it's still something that's not like like it's not crazy, but I hear it. And if I needed to just like what do you call it?
It's like me holding for the dogs. Like,
RX
I
it
don't have
out.
the dogs crated right now, but if they go ballistic during this interview, which they could, if anyone drives into the cul-de-sac, it will be like World War III up there. And I obviously don't, during a directed session, they're put away, so they can't do that. But like today, we just hold for the insanity of the dogs and then keep going.
Well,
Because they don't do it for too long.
well, no, I mean, because you can't hold during a football game. That's the whole.
Oh, that's true.
football
That's
game.
a couple hours. Yeah.
But
You'd be like,
you
no.
you can it could be filtered out. Like, it's not to the point to where I absolutely have to stop.
Right.
It's just I kind of hear like, okay, there's a little bit of something, but the moment you put any kind of pass through it, it goes away. So thankfully,
Here's a
there's
question.
that.
It's a super technical question. If you're not a voice artist, you're going to learn a lot about this. So I have to ask this. This is a voice artist related question. What percentage of your stuff is Source Connect / live versus stuff that you're recording and sending?
Dang.
That's a hard question. I know I didn't prep you with that one. So I'm just like, I want to know.
Well, no, more like these days, most of the stuff that I book, even through pay to plays, they want to do Source Connect or Zoom.
I know. I'm on my 4th directed session this week.
Yeah.
Which means dogs get put away. Right? And so I'm used to having the dogs out because if they go ballistic, I just wait. But I don't want anyone who's live to have to like edit out my dogs going insane.
Although I just had a self-direct through the agent, which is wild.
Yes.
Like, that's never.
Wow.
Well, I mean, it happened one time last year, and so they came back this year. But it's the same client because we it was funny because it was like we're gonna do a session, and I sit there, and she's sitting there, and she's just like in a cubicle, and she's like, "So what do we do?" And I'm like,
yes. I've had one of those.
What?
They just listen. They just want to hear what's happening.
No, she didn't want. She didn't want to do it. She was like, "Yeah, it's included, but like, I don't know. You can do it on your own. Like, I don't need to." I was like, "Yeah, it's actually preferred."
Yeah,
that was really funny.
Did you manage to like separate and like have her hang up, or did she stay? Okay, good.
It's fine. That's good. I'll just get it over to you when I'm done.
What's nice is you got to meet her though and maybe see each other, because that is such a big deal. I love that. And I love like all the sessions I did this week, we would be on Zoom or whatever. It was mostly Google Meet or whatever they wanted me to log into. And we'd see each other, which was great because they could see me and like, oh, hi. And so that's like making a connection with them as human beings. And then we turn the cameras off.
So maybe this is the introvert in me or the antisocial person in me, but I can't stand that.
And that's you don't need to see me. You don't have to do it.
You don't need to see me. You don't have to do it. I don't want to do my hair. I don't want to de-ashify my elbows. Like, I just don't want to have to deal with it. I don't want to have to think, okay, do I put on, like, I just like, and so when I'm on, like, the camera's not on. Right. You can hear me, but like, you don't need to see me. And that's just how I know I have friends that are, but I'm also just like super awkward around people that, and like, maybe it's just like growing up with immigrant parents and having this whole thing about like authority. It feels like they're an authority figure. Like, okay, now you're my boss. And now I feel awkward around my boss and I don't know how to act. And then I just get super like either quiet or like if they're super cool and we're personable or whatever, then there's always inevitably something that I say that I'm like, was that like too much? So I'm just like, I just like to avoid Like, let's just like, I'm gonna be super nice. I'm gonna be bubbly. I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna be, but I don't wanna, can we just get this over? I avoided directed sessions for the whole first 6 months. I would turn down jobs to avoid directed sessions for the
Oof.
first 6 months. Not just because my closet was ridiculous, but because I also just don't like them. They give me anxiety.
They give
um,
me anxiety. There's never a time that I'm not just a little bit. I mean, I don't mind it. I think it's kinda nice to give them what they want, and if they have a quick redirect, that's really cool too. I just love recording by myself.
I
It's just
love
really
it.
nice.
I can do it, and I
Yeah.
promise I would make it a game to make sure that all you needed was this one file. You're not going to come back to me because guess what? You're going to have exactly what you need. There was
Yeah.
even I there was a client that it was a pretty big client, and it was back on the days when I was just on pay to plays, and they were like, okay, well, what we'll do first is we'll get do a recording for us. We'll make a scratch track, and then get something whatever from the feedback from the client, and then we'll schedule a session. I didn't want a session, so I said, guess what? I didn't say it, but I was like, they're not gonna need it. I gave
Ah,
them,
the
I
best
think I gave
scratch
them like
ever.
4 or 5 takes,
Yep.
and in any way that they would possibly want it. And it was like when they came back and they were like, we actually don't need anything more from you. I said, of course you don't.
I love
Don't play
that.
with me. I don't want it. I don't
Oh,
want
man.
it.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. So tell us about your recent projects, like, or what are you working on right now?
I'm working on. I don't know. I'm I'm working on some audiobooks. I don't know if I'm allowed to say which audiobooks
How
because
about
they're
how
not
about
out
how
yet.
many? You don't just say what they are, but how many audiobooks are you working on right now? Like in various
um,
stages of prep, probably.
1, 2, 3,
Yeah, I believe that. And how far are you
4.
like booked out? Or do you let them book you out super far? Because I know some audiobook narrators, man, they would like lock you up all. I mean, that in a good way. It's in a good way. But it can be intense.
Um, I it's so funny because I'm getting having the long form work. It's such like a it's a whole thing for me. But I love audiobooks so much that I'm always like, oh, that sounds fun. Like I'll do it.
Right.
And I don't know why I do this to myself because it's like a lot. Um,
It's a lot.
it's a lot, especially when you're also doing the other stuff that's short form at the same time.
How many hours a day of short form would you do while also doing a book?
Well, see, and that's the thing. So like so for example, should we do yesterday as an example?
Or you could just like save all the you can change all the names and everything to protect the NDA, non-disclosure agreements out there, right? A lot of
So
NDAs.
like
Yep.
so example, my 5:45 a.m. yesterday started a session with a client that is in overseas. After that, I did auditions that short form auditions that were due in the morning.
Right.
After
Yep.
that, I had to do a co-working thing to work on book because it's just so hard to focus when I'm not co-working with someone, just like sitting on Zoom and anyways. And then I come out of the booth and I'm still answering emails all times of the day. I know. Work-life balance, what is that? Um, and then I get back into the booth around I didn't leave the booth until around like 1:30ish. I get back into the booth around 5:30, 5:45,
Yep.
and I'm in a like a VO peer-to-peer workout thing. Um and then or did I come in earlier? No, I didn't. Not this time. That wasn't yesterday. And then after that, I'm in there another hour and a half doing auditions.
Yep. Yep.
And then I
After
mean,
meeting auditions, yeah. It's a yeah, that all day.
it was all day.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's all day. It's a lot. It's a lot.
How
And then you
long
get
is your
tired.
average audiobook session?
Session?
for yourself. You know what I mean? Like for
Oh,
me, when I do it, I like
I
to do like 2 hours, maybe 3, but I'll do maybe 2 of those. Depends when the book's due. I've done up to
some
3 of
of
those
it
in one
like
day.
my friend, the one that I do co-working with, they're savage. They
Yeah.
would be in there for 8, 9 hours. I
Wait,
don't understand.
with breaks, I hope. Holy wow,
With
that's a lot.
breaks,
Okay,
but like
still.
still, like my goodness, vocals of steel. That's wild. I
Yeah, I
can't.
need more time off than that. Yeah.
I will push it to 4 hours
Okay.
straight if
Yeah,
I'm under tight deadline. I
right.
just can't do more than 4. I can't. My brain will melt out of my ears. I just cannot.
And
And
have you done a book that was directed where they were listening to you the whole time or giving direction while you were going?
yeah, yeah, I've
Yeah.
done a few of those.
I've done a couple, just a couple.
Those end up being 6-hour long days.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel as I mean, it's taxing on the voice for sure. We do end up having breaks, like we take breaks, 15-minute breaks, 10 to 15-minute breaks every, just depending on who the director is. But it's also free roll, which is wonderful. So we end up getting
Yes.
through 100 pages in one
No
day.
punch and roll. Free roll
No,
means if you make a
just
mistake,
turn
you just
on,
start
yeah,
again. Yeah.
just press record and keep going.
And go.
I
That's
love
what I
that.
did yesterday, but it wasn't long form. It
Yeah,
was like 4
exactly.
sentences.
And those and that's like the beauty of yeah. That's the beauty of it, is that it's like I always say, like it's like a traumatic experience, but it's condensed into 3 days, so it makes it worth it. Kind of like
Yeah.
childbirth, right? Now I've never had a child, but I would imagine that it would be very traumatic, but like
Mhm.
so worth it in the end, because now you have this beautiful baby that you'd be like, hey, it's out in the world. But
Yeah,
like
but the
trauma,
process was something. Yeah. Yeah, okay.
that's
I
how
I
I
totally agree with that,
feel,
actually. As a
rather
mom,
than
I can agree with
like,
that.
whereas self-record on your own without it being, free roll, feels probably more like those people who go through like a week of labor
Yeah. Or, an
or 2
illness.
weeks. Yeah.
That's terrible. Audiobook work feels like a traumatic illness. I
But like
also love
I
audiobooks a
love
lot.
it
I know,
so
I love it too.
much, but it's so
I think you're the one who
hard.
coined audio jail, and I love that,
I
and
love
not in a
it.
bad way. It's audiobook jail. It's for me, it's summertime in Seattle. If the sun is shining, I can't come in here. The sun is shining. There's a sun outside. I must run outside and be out like all the other Seattleites. In the wintertime, I'm like, bring it. It's just raining. So let me just do a book. But man, a book in like July, then it could be the best book ever. I'll do it. But I'm just like, oh, but I want to be outside. It's hard. It
It's
just
so funny.
requires discipline.
I'm so
And I love it.
opposite. If their sun
Oh,
is
I know,
out,
right?
please leave me out of it if the sun is out. Don't even invite me. I'm not coming. Is it outside? You want me to eat outside? What do I look like, an animal? I'm not an animal.
You and I did go on a cruise all the way to Mexico.
We did.
We did.
And
And I
here's
don't
the
think I
gag.
sunbathed with you very often. I totally didn't. Mostly we hung out inside.
Here's
We
the
totally did.
here's the gag. I had a whole balcony. Not one
Yes, you
time did
did.
I step a foot. Now the
I
balcony
think
door
I
was
went on your
open.
balcony.
Yeah,
I think I
the
went on your balcony.
balcony door was open, and I was in a chair next to the door.
It was really
I'm gonna
beautiful
get
out
this,
there,
like a
man.
fly somehow got inside, and I'm like, we're out in the middle of the ocean.
Oh.
Where did this fly come from? The door closed.
Oh.
After that, I was like, we're not doing
Okay.
this.
No more flies.
We're I am not an outside person. There's no touching grass. I feel like grass makes me itch. Like, no.
Okay. So, here's some other questions. So, do you have mentors? Who, when, why? How'd they become your mentors? This podcast is brought to you by the Seattle Voice Academy, and your host runs the podcast and the Seattle Voice Academy. This online voice school specializes in vocal health, singing, voiceover, and public speaking. Come check us out, seattlevoiceacademy.com.
Dun, 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 dun. When I, what's interesting is, like, I feel like when I first started, everybody was like my mentor. Everyone who had like started before me ended up being like some form of like a mentor. Like the whole community was so nice. Anyone who had information would give me information. There were certain people. One person actually like paid for an audiobook like class thing for me. One there was one person that like they sat me down with another friend, and they went over Zoom, and they taught us how they use like they just taught us about how they use like pay to plays, their experiences with that, how they edit stuff. I ended up doing that for other people just to like pay it forward, because it's just like free information, like just for free. And then any questions when I was having meltdowns for auditions, she would let me know. And then later on, I was like coaching with people, and those people ended up being like mentors, like the OG mentors. So I had like mentors of people who were like 2 or 3, 1 or 2 years in front of me, and then mentors that were like OGs. And it was like so helpful in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
So, okay, these are 2 questions I ask everybody. Did anyone ever say exactly the right thing to get you where you are today?
See, now that's the thing, is that I don't think so.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think that's a truth for everybody.
Yeah.
I know some artists that there was this catalytic moment. Okay.
There was a moment. So in the very beginning, I feel like I was on Clubhouse, and like there was like this phenomenon where like all of a sudden we would break into like a not sporadic, but like a impromptu workout in the middle of a room, any given room at any time, and there's like OG the voice people in there giving feedback, and I felt like everybody else would get this like great feedback, and when it came to me, I would read, and it would be like silence.
Oh, that's
And then
a good
someone would be
sign.
like, no, no, because everybody had something to say. So much feedback. So So I'm thinking like, well, dang, I guess I suck then. I was like, I must suck. Like, so it like I felt like it was always something, like I never got the same feedback as other people. And then I remember there was one person that was like, I had said something like, well, I mean, I don't have a voice like so and so and so and so. So like, is there like really, and they were like, no, I think your voice is actually really great. Like you have this voice that sounds like it would be like someone that you would listen to. I forgot exactly the words that were used, but it made me go, oh,
Yeah, that
something
permission.
nice.
That
It
one
was,
person who gives you permission. I have a hunch. I have a hunch about why you weren't getting any feedback. Because it was good. And they were like, it's great. Sometimes they just move on because they're like, whoa, that was,
no, they
because
had
they're not
feedback.
dicing into it. Yeah.
No, they had feedback.
They had feedback for you. Okay.
It was a lot of feedback. Which is why
Did
I was
anyone
like,
ever
okay.
say, oh, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Did anyone ever say the wrong thing? And if they have said the wrong thing, how did you cope?
I've had people say, I can't think of anything specifically, but just like maybe people being just kind of discouraging, or like when I get like an ick feeling from someone who it's like, okay, obviously this person does not believe that I deserve any of the success that I have, but I'm a very competitive type of individual. I try not to be, but good Lord, it's just ingrained. And I try to like stamp it down, like calm down. I'm competitive with myself, and that's part of the reason why, like, even the, I like workout things that I'm doing. I'm like, no, we're gonna work out. And here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna work out, burn more calories than anybody. Like, I'm that crazy person. But like, also, if I feel like I'm not booking enough, I'm not, and that's part of the reason why I don't even like look at stats or whatever, because stats can change, stats can lie. I can book a bunch of stuff
they could be
today
skewed.
and then not book for a really long time. And if I'm counting stats, if I'm saying, well, I'm auditioning and nothing's happening, and the stats over here if I'm not booking enough, I would use that as like enough is relative, but for me,
Right.
if I'm not booking the way I feel like I should be booking, I will step my game up. Where can I step
Yeah.
my game up?
Right.
So that's how I deal with stuff. I'm like, if I feel like if I feel like, okay, I didn't get something that I wanted to get, or, nomination or whatever it may be, I guess I just have to work harder.
Yeah, I
Okay,
love
I
that.
didn't hear back from, this agency, or didn't hear back from, all right, guess what?
Yeah.
Bet you're
Time
going
to
to want
work.
me later. I'm a
Oh,
work.
I love that. Bet you're gonna want me later.
Like,
I
that's my
think the
attitude.
best artists, they don't stop working. They don't stop. And by working, I don't mean just getting work. I mean working on their craft. I mean, I don't know painters that assume they'll get in and then, well, the paintings will always be there. Or a writer who, man, writers, you get that book and the publisher publishes it and now they're like, okay, you have 4 more for us. We want to put you on retainer for that 4 books. And now you're sitting there going, I don't have 4 more books. So for voice artists, we're gig to gig to gig to gig to gig, maybe, or we could be on something that's long running, or
But
you could have a
that's
client
not
for
even
8
like,
years
it's
that
not
always
even
comes
like,
back,
they could always come back or they could not.
right?
I'm always really weary of repeat clients. I love them, but they make me
Yeah.
so nervous because then they can go away. And I feel like I should always, I know that
Always
repeat
fill the
clients is weird it
pipeline with new
is,
people.
but I'm
Always
just
fill
like,
with new.
mhm. Yeah.
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 How do you handle critiques, opinions, social media, reviews, all that stuff?
Motivation. Critique that's
Yeah.
negative, always use that. Okay, let's take that in. Let's let that soak.
Right.
All right.
Mhm.
What can we do to make sure they have nothing to say later?
Oh, I love that too, right? Yes. And when you're not creating, what do you love to do?
Oh, you know what? I watch anime and Korean dramas, and yeah, that's my unwind.
What's
Like
your
it when
favorite one
I
right now?
oh, Luffy. Oh, I call it Luffy, and I know it has a name. I'll tell my sister, like, you want to watch Luffy? We're on like episode 160 something.
Yeah, I don't know
Shoot,
what it is.
one
How do we find it?
One Piece
Okay.
anime. Oh my god, I
One
love
Piece
them.
anime. Okay.
One Piece. Yes, there's like 1,000 something episodes. It's an anime that's been going on forever and always. It's so good. So we're on that, and
Okay.
then yeah, just Netflix has been the real MVP with coming out with so many different like Korean drama stuff that I love them. They're so cheesy in the best
And are
way
you
possible.
watching them with the dubs or do you have the subtitles?
If I have time to just luxuriate, then we will go ahead and put them on with the subtitles. But
Yeah.
if my brain hurts, then I have to find one that's dubbed in English. Like,
Because the
I've been
dubbing,
reading all
man, that talk
day.
about voiceover jobs down in LA. If you're down in LA, if you're in parts of Texas, if you're up in Vancouver, man, there's some steady work in dubbing. I'm up in Seattle, so I don't do any. And is there any where you're around? Because you're near the San Francisco area ish, with a big ish on that, right?
Yeah.
Is there dubbing in your area?
I don't know.
Yeah, I know exactly.
I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's okay. Let's see. What advice do you have for young artists? And I don't mean age-wise. I mean like people who are new to voiceover, whatever age they might be. What advice would you give?
Learn as much as you can. What am I
That's pretty
saying?
solid advice.
I'm all like,
I was like, yeah, I like
what?
that. You could, and you
What
can
am
put
I
it on a
gonna say?
mug.
Like ... There's even if there's no budget, there's so much you can learn for free on YouTube and different places.
Yeah.
But make sure that you learn what you need to learn, and make sure that you vet everything and everyone before
Yep.
you pay money
Yep.
for it, especially if
Yep.
money is tight.
Yeah.
Make sure.
You might be speaking from personal experience. I know.
But yes,
I know a little bit of that story. We won't go into it here.
we
But
won't.
yeah,
We won't do it.
I think you check and see if they have great reviews from lots of people. If you go on and you hear somebody on YouTube or whatever, find out more about them. Can they teach? Are they? Oh, here's one that I would add. If they're a great performer, that means they're a great performer. Are they a great performer and they can teach? Those are two separate skills.
Those are
You want both.
way two separate skills.
They're
And
separate skills, yeah.
also, not everybody's vibe is going to fit your vibe.
Right.
You may see someone and they may be great at coaching somebody else, but their way of coaching just doesn't sit right in your spirit.
Oh, then
And
you need
it's
to
not
part
going to work.
ways.
It's not going to work
I've
for
done
you.
that.
So I would
I've
say,
left. There was a person I was like, I'm out. Yeah.
right, because you're not going to receive. It's not going to be good for you. So even if they're a good teacher for somebody else, always, if there's like a way for you to get a taste of it without really putting down roots, do that first. If there's
Yep.
nobody that you trust who has worked with them personally, like, don't just go off of like, someone did a testimonial. Those can lie. Okay. Don't do it.
They can. Yeah.
And yes, those can lie. Don't go off of just like, this person said this. Like, do you know someone specifically who took the class? Not just like, oh, they're good friends with them. No. But they could be
Voiceover is a
good
pretty little
friends.
community. Voiceover is a fairly small community. Even if you don't know anyone, you can kind of get out there and find people that do know someone, and you can get personal recommendations or referrals.
Mhm.
Pretty much
So from
anyone
somebody
who
who's
teaches.
literally actually been in the class and experienced it. That's the best way to, someone who, and not even on a public forum, in a private DM or whatever it may
Yeah.
be, so they can give you the real dish on it. Because
Yeah.
you really never know. And also,
And if for some reason, if you made that mistake, it's okay to come back from it. It's an expensive mistake. So, try to avoid the expensive mistakes. But if that happens, it's not too late.
literally not. Yeah.
It's never too late.
Do
So
not
you're
give.
just going to
Don't
chalk
give
that up
up.
to, oops. Yeah.
Like, okay,
Yeah.
and move on. But don't let a mistake stop you from. I've made plenty of mistakes.
Me too. Oh my God, me too.
You learn
Yinka,
from
thank
them.
you so much for being on our program. Go to your room and make stuff. You and I are both in our respective rooms, and I have to end the conversation because I actually have to hit 10 o'clock. I have to be on a session.
Oh my God.
It has been fantastic to talk to you. Thank you. Thank you. From my room to your room, let's keep making stuff, okay?
All right.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to Go to Your Room and Make Stuff, the podcast for artists of any kind who want to make art by themselves. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast in all the places where you find podcasts. Find us on social media. And if you ever have any artists you would like to see featured, please let us know. Now, go to your room and make stuff.